Welcome back, everyone, to another market update, your market update for Dallas, Georgia. We're going to be looking at single family homes as usual in Dallas, Georgia specifically. Why Dallas, Georgia, you may ask, because it's the city that I live in, but I thought I'd start out with this headline from Paulding County because Dallas, Georgia is located in Paulding County, and Dallas, Georgia is the largest city in Paulding County. So check this out. This recent news article released by Fox 5 headlines as follows: Paulding County boom excites some residents. And if you go check out this article, if you play it, in summary, it talks about the growth in Paulding County over the past 2 to 5 years, and it has exploded in terms of homes, residents, and much, much more. If you look down at the bottom, the subtitle reads as follows. It says, back in 1990, Paulding County was home to just 81,000 residents. 81,000 residents. Today, that number has more than doubled, surpassing 183,000 residents. With the population boom comes new fast food restaurants, shops, and traffic, unfortunately. Most of the people who spoke to Fox 5 were happy about the growth, but want to make sure the county expands carefully. So that is a huge growth number. That's almost, what is that? Maybe significant, almost 100,000 people roughly in the last few years. So Paulding County is experiencing tons of growth, and as you drive through here and visit, you'll see a road expansion here, a new development here, tons of residential development communities popping up all over, new construction popping up left and right. But in addition to that, the retail is following. So often what you see in terms of economic development is you'll see the homes come first and then the retail, and that is definitely the reality here, not only in Paulding County, but specifically in Dallas, Georgia. So I wanted to share this piece of news with you as we jumped into our market update for today. But again, this is going to be specifically on Dallas, Georgia, specifically single family residents in Dallas, Georgia, and it is going to be your July 2025 single family home market update. So with that, enjoy this article. Feel free to check it out. They do a pretty good job of summarizing some of the new restaurants and some of the things coming to Paulding County that I'm sure you want to know about, and I think you should keep on your radar. But let's jump right into it. So again, this is your market update for July 2025, specifically for single family homes. So to level set here, let's take a look at our data sets that we're going to see consistently across this market update. We have the entire MLS, we have Dallas, and we have Paulding County. So this is the average sales price for the month of July, 2025. So in Dallas, Georgia, the average sales price as of July last month is 388,000. And if we go back to July 2024, it was 408,000. So the average sales price has decreased slightly. So for those looking on the sell side, appreciation has actually declined a bit here overall. Now this data is not specific to new construction home, the age of the home, the condition of the home, or anything like that. All those things play a factor, but this data shows us that the average sales price has slightly declined a bit from last year to this year. Now, if we look at Paulding County, 398,000 last year in July, 398, and Paulding County also follows suit. So, something to keep in mind, if you are a buyer in the market, it looks like things are slightly in your favor here, in terms of the average sales price getting a little bit more affordable. Now, if you're on the sell side, this is something to keep in mind, that you may not be able to get the price that you could last year or the year before. Average sales price in Dallas across single family homes has taken a bit of a dip. So what does that mean? More strategic, intentional preparation if you are considering listing your home to make it present very well, because as we'll see in some of the other data points here, buyers have quite a bit more options to choose from. and the price that you may have been able to get away with, or the condition of your home to get a particular price that you were able to get away with the last few years, is showing not to be the case here, as the average sales price across the board has slightly dipped a little bit this year. So moving on to July new listings. This is always a fun number. So again, black line, the entire MLS, green line is Dallas, and the yellow is Paulding County. And again, we're looking at a bar graph here. So data presented a little bit differently, but let's take a look specifically at the green here. And if we look this time last year, it was 214 was our new listings, and we have a significant increase this month of about 17.3% jump from July of last year to July of this year in new listings. If you are on the buy side, this is good news. A lot more options to choose from. Inventory is higher. On the sell side, again, speaking to the last slide on average sales price, buyers have a lot more options to choose from. So it becomes paramount to be intentional about the preparation of your home, touching up your home, presenting your home well the first time around, being very realistic about the price, looking at comps, and really getting and dialing down your go-to-market strategy, your presentation of your home, and nailing down a very, very intentional price to make sure it sells in a reasonable amount of time depending on your situation. But new listings simply means there are more listings this time this year as compared to last year, up 17.3%, specifically in Dallas, Georgia. And if we look at the yellow bar as well, Paulding County, which consists of Hiram as well, is also following suit in addition to the entire MLS. So let's hop over here to pending sales. So I always like to look at this number because it is an interesting number to consider specifically for my sellers out there considering listing their home. So this year it is 126. Pendings is the amount of homes that have gone from active to pending this year, right? Active to pending, specifically single family homes, active to pending, which means that an offer has been accepted by the seller. It doesn't mean it's closed. Make that distinction. It doesn't mean that it is closed. It is simply an offer that has been accepted and the home is now under contract by the seller, right? So 126 as of this July of this year. If we compare that to last year, 120. It has increased by 5%, an increase of 5%. So looking at this number, let's look at Paulding County, and we also see an increase from 186 right here, has increased 15.1% to 214. So an interesting number to keep in mind, right? An interesting number to keep in mind. And what we can often infer from this, or if we are a seller, that there often needs to be less, it's taking a little bit less time to get an acceptable offer, right? We're having more homes that are pending now than they were last year. So this is good news if you are a seller. It is showing that the time that it's taking from a home to go from active to pending is a little tighter, or it's simply saying that although the amount of offers may be less, that there are offers that are being presented that are acceptable to sellers, and they're getting, at least according to this data, agreeable offers, more agreeable offers than they did last year. So I hope that made sense. But pendings is often a good indication of how quickly a home is transitioning from being active to going under contract. So when I'm often at the table with sellers considering the offers that buyers present, it is always in their best interest to try to find the highest price in the shortest amount of time with the most favorable terms to go under contract. And what this data is showing is that there have been more of those incidents, more of those type of offers that a seller sees and wants to accept than this time last year. Which, if you are on the sales side, is a good thing. It is an indication of not having too many either unfavorable offers, lowball offers, different unattractive offers that sellers may not find attractive for whatever, for a variety of different reasons. And it is up 5% in Dallas in particular. This year, this month as compared to last year. So jumping over here to average days on market. This is a very important number to consider if you are a seller because it shows you how long homes are sitting on the market. And as you are planning to bring your home to market, it's very important to try to present your home the best way possible to reduce this number. Of course, we would love to get an offer within 1 weekend, within 48 hours, and it'd be the best offer that we have been presented. That's not the case in this market that we're in. It doesn't happen that quickly, I should say, and these numbers support that. So if you look at the green bar here for Dallas, Georgia, we're at 51 days is the average days on market as of July of this year for single family homes, as compared to last year was 33. So obviously an increase of about 54, 55%, I'm going to call it a 55% increase in terms of days on market. So simply and plainly put, homes are sitting on the market longer. They're sitting on the market longer. So this number one, if you are a seller watching this video, make sure to adjust your expectations, plan accordingly. And also in addition, when you're consulting with your realtor, I love that to be me, but even if it isn't, to have a conversation about presenting your home right the first time around in terms of price, presentation, renovations, the whole package to make sure your home is coming to the market in a way to be on the lower end of these numbers here. So, however, if you get to the 51-day mark, this is the average time or days on market. It's not a bad thing. It's not a long time. It's not a short amount of time. It's just the average. But knowing the average days on market gives you an idea of how to plan accordingly and to kind of get an understanding of how quickly inventory is moving once it hits the market. So things are sitting a bit longer, a bit more patience is needed, a bit more preparation, a bit more strategy, more intentional pricing is ideal. But we see that 33 an increase to 51, a 55% increase. And Paulding County also follows suit. So inventory, this is the number that folks like to determine whether we're in a seller's market, neutral market, or buyer's market. Less than 4 seller's market, 4 to 6 average market, 6 or higher is a buyer's market. So right here in Dallas, Georgia, we're at 4.5. So just barely in the average or balanced market number range. And up last year from 3.3 to 4.5. We're looking specifically at Dallas, Georgia here. And it is a 36% increase. So not quite a seller's market, more balanced. And what you'll probably see if you are a seller entertaining buyers is you're probably going to have to make a few more concessions. You may have to do one price adjustment, things of this nature. The dialogue and the concessions are becoming a lot more frequent given these numbers. Now, it's not crazy where you're having to make a whole bunch of concessions across the board for buyers as you're selling your home, but they are happening a lot more than they did in prior years, right? If you are a seller listing your home, you're not going to be able to have your way and really kind of dictate the entire transaction as much or as compared to how it was a few years ago when most sellers could put their home on the market and get whatever price they wanted with as few or no concessions at all. That market is slowly dying away. A little bit more flexibility is required to make our way to the finish line and close the deal. So if you were a seller in this market and having to entertain concessions by buyers, having to be a little bit more flexible in some of the things you do, this is not abnormal. The 4.5 indicates we're in a balanced market. Now we're on the lower side of that, closer to a seller's market, but I share this information to know that it's not uncommon to have to make a few more concessions in some way, shape, or form to continue to move towards that closing as compared to last year and especially the years prior where things were flying off the shelf for astronomical prices and almost no seller concessions. So if we look at Dallas, again, we're up 36.4%. And as we expected, Paulding County, which includes Hiram as well as Dallas, is also following suit. Last but not least, one of my favorite metrics to share with my sellers is the average showings per pending. So again, pending is an indication of a home going from active to an acceptable or accepted contract, not necessarily closed. We all know, or in case you didn't know, there are things that can happen that a deal could fall apart in due diligence, in a different stage with a buyer's financing that could prevent it from going to closing. It happens from time to time. So this doesn't indicate active to closing, but active to pending, which means a seller has accepted an offer that has been presented by a buyer. So this number shows you how many showings have to happen in order for an offer to be accepted. This is a great number in terms of keeping an eye on traffic and how many buyers have to come through your property to get at least one offer. So it is a great indication of attraction and presenting your home in a way that attracts the amount of people that it takes on average to get you one offer. Now, we don't know what that offer could be, how acceptable it could be, how favorable it could be, excuse me. But we want as many offers to give you options if you are in the selling position. So Dallas, as of July 2025, for single family homes, keep in mind, is 10.8. You need about 11 showings, 11 families or groups or people to come to see your home for one offer to be produced that's acceptable. This is down from last year, which was at 12.9 here. And what that is saying is that less people need to come to visit your home or see your home in order for you to get an acceptable offer. This is great news. This is good news if you're a seller, because it simply means that depending on how presentable your home, more offers are coming to the table with less folks having to see it, of course, if it's presented well. So it's something to keep in mind. Right price, strategic pricing, great presentation, as well as allowing your home to be accessible, making it easy for folks to come and see it. Not as many folks have to come and see it to present a decent offer as compared to last year. It's actually down 16.3%. So if you're a seller looking at this number, this is a good thing. This is a good thing because it indicates that offers are coming across you're getting presented offers that are agreeable more often for less people having to view your home. And if we look at Paulding County, it also follows suit as well. So with that, I hope that you enjoyed this video. Of course, give it a thumbs up if this information is beneficial to you. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you are considering selling your home in the Dallas and or Paulding County area, my name is Tajh Walker, and I'm a local realtor here in the Paulding County area, specifically Dallas, Georgia. And if you're considering selling your home, I'd love to talk to you more. Simply provide information and resources for you to make the best decision and walk you through the listing process and go from there. If that is you, please check out the description below. All of my contact information is there. Click the inquiry form, fill it out, and myself or someone from my team will set up a time to talk to you in more detail, and we can go from there. With that, thank you so much for watching this. Of course, give me a thumbs up. Let me know this information is valuable to you and provided you some insight in some way, shape, or form. And I'll continue to make these every single month for my sellers out there and or buyers who find this valuable. But primarily, this information benefits sellers. And I will see you all in the next video. You folks take care. Bye-bye.